I'm Eileen Floody. I live in Tofino in the heart of Clayoquot Sound, a unique remnant really left now of temperate old-growth rainforest that exists on the west coast of Vancouver Island, and we work very hard to keep it just like that, an intact old-growth rainforest. When I was a kid, I grew up in Ontario, salmon came in cans. Of course it still does, but that was the only way that we saw salmon. The idea of having fresh salmon fillets as something to eat is a marketing ploy by the salmon farming companies, and it's not viable because those farms are incredibly destructive. People should try and eat locally, obviously, as much as possible, and so getting, so-called salmon fillets to every corner of the continent, to me, is just wrong. So when I came out here and learned all of this, because I didn't really know that much about it before I moved here, has been, life-changing as far as my attitude towards how salmon are. So it's a cliche, but cliches are often cliches because they're true, that salmon is the backbone of the coast. And the wild salmon have sustained this ecosystem. Their nitrogen is in the trees around us. It sustained the First Nations for thousands and thousands of years. It sustains bears of all kinds, and eagles, and gulls, and raccoons, and just about every animal and other critter that you can think of. Is when the salmon come back and they spawn and die, and their bodies are there as a feast for the environment. The drastic loss of wild salmon due to huge years of overfishing since the white settlers arrived, and now the threat of salmon farms and climate change has just devastated the wild salmon population and puts in jeopardy the health of this ecosystem. And that's what we need to get away from. We need to get away from that kind of support of corporations that damage the environment and find truly good economic solutions for people so that the wild salmon can return. Whenever I see things about salmon, movies and films, documentaries, information about salmon, books about salmon, I think what strikes me most is the persistence and the hope that it seems that the fish have as they battle upstream. And I think that's something all of us can learn from. We support the salmon the best way we can so that they come back in abundance. They're an incredibly resilient species, and they will come back if we just give them half a chance. And that's what we need to do. We need to give them that chance to open up the streams, have the clean water for them to swim, and no threats from things like salmon farms and bad logging practices. So if we can just make those changes, have people aware of what they can lose if they don't support salmon, that we can see a future of abundance and restoration and hope.